Hi everyone, good afternoon from Vienna. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Making It in Austria. I'm your host, Adela Mehijanic, and today I have a great pleasure to introduce you to a good friend, Nadina Gradaščević. Nadina, welcome to our YouTube channel.
Thank you, Adela. It's my absolute pleasure, and thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us on this lovely Sunday afternoon where it's sunny in Vienna, and you're still making time for us and our community. Really appreciate. Let's start with a short introduction from your side, Nadina. What would you like to share with our viewers?
Yes, hello everybody. My name is Nadina Gradaščević. I'm a business and leadership consultant and high performance executive coach, which means that I help people and global companies improve their performance and reach their goals by focusing on leadership transformation. Since I'm very passionate about building international business communities, I'm also co-founder of the Association Businesswomen of Bosnia and Herzegovina in Vienna, and I'm a founder of the Women in Leadership community, which aims to bring together high potential women and support their personal and professional development while encouraging them to explore new paths of leadership and become outstanding leaders. I'm very committed to the development of sustainable and future-oriented leadership culture and to intercultural understanding in global business. Besides that, I'm a management board member of ABSL, Bosnia and Herzegovina, which is the Association of Business Service Leaders, the leading organization representing the business service sector. Yep.
That was Nadina. You were one of the first persons that introduced me to leadership. So that I heard so much about leadership and you being passionate about it. So you're one of the first people that brought me to explore a little bit more than join your community, Women in Leadership, which is a perfect community for everyone. Stepping up in the leadership role, can highly recommend. What makes you so passionate about leadership?
Well, yes, I will go step back because my background is investment banking, and I spent almost a decade working in investment banking industry. First as equity analyst and then as institutional sales manager. And the reason why I decided to leave that corporate world and to start my own business is because I was kind of missing this inspiring leaders. I am very passionate and I have always been very passionate about the leadership. And it's also, the same time, I was always very frustrated about the consequences of poor leadership. So basically, this frustration was my inspiration to strive for excellence in this field and to start supporting development of outstanding leaders.
Who is your leader? Who is one of the leaders that you admire nowadays or see as a role model?
Well, there are many, and on the other side, not so many. I never focus on one person, and I never focus on I'm more passionate about the work that people do. I'm more passionate about the contribution they make. And I'm very curious and I go into very many different topics. So I wouldn't point out one person or several persons. It's just you can find inspiring people and great personalities and inspiring leaders everywhere. So it doesn't have to be one famous role model.
You mentioned that you spent over 10 years in investment banking. Now you have your own business. So how was this transition from an employer to having your own business? What are your key learnings? What would you like to tell us about it?
Yes, of course. I spent, as I said, spent almost a decade working in financial sector, and I'm someone who strives for excellence in life. And I need an environment that satisfies my needs for knowledge, my needs for development and growth, for change and transformation. And besides that, I'm a very purpose-driven person So I couldn't find that values and that inspiration in companies I worked for. And I reached the point when I realized that I have to take a full responsibility if I want to live fulfilled and purposeful life. So it's my life, my responsibility, and I'm the only one who can change something. And I truly believe that excellence starts with self-leadership, again, leadership. And self-leadership is about awareness, reflection, understanding your own personality. And it's about finding your own self-purpose, your true self-purpose. And this is how I started. I basically transformed my whole life after I decided to leave the corporate job and that industry. And transition from being an employee to being an entrepreneur, it takes time. And I wanted to create a working environment and to build a business that aligns with my values and with my lifestyle. It's so wrong that we split between private life and business work life. It's one life. It should be one lifestyle. And our work and our working environment should suit our work lifestyle, our lifestyle. To be able to do that, you need to know who you are. You need to know what you want and what kind of life suits you best. You need to know your values and what values you would never ever compromise. You have to know your talents, your strengths, and especially you have to know how can you add value to others. So I was, as I said, always very passionate about leadership, and that was my starting point. Adding value to other people, trying to solve that frustration I had about the consequences of poor leadership. And for me, leadership as such is a life philosophy. It's a personal and professional development process and a lifelong journey of learning about ourselves, about other people. It is who we are. It is how we serve society and what we do to inspire people to develop, grow, and succeed. So basically, if you ask me about transition, it takes time. And if you decide to build your business, there are several things you really have to develop on time. And one of them is your willingness. You have to develop your willingness to take risks. Because it's not going to be always safe and secure. And you have to develop resilience because you will certainly face tough times and there is no guarantee that you are going to succeed. And you have to develop discipline and skills to advance yourself and to level up your business. And what's also extremely important, to build a supportive and empowering and loving environment to catch you if you fail and fall. And you probably will. You know, it's like a roller coaster. Having own business is emotional roller coaster as well. So you need to have supporting and loving environment, and especially this to be able to take risk, to build all these capabilities, to build these skills. I think it's so important to be brutally honest with yourself. So if you are focused on safety, on security, if you like your comfort zone, then building one business is going to be more a struggle than an adventure. And I think it's important to be able to face reality as it is and to learn how to manage it. And entrepreneurship, or better said, this learning how to become a businesswoman, has improved my life in so many ways. And I have regained my sense of freedom, which I kind of lost in that corporate world. And at the same time, I do contribute to something that is much greater than myself. And this is so important for me as someone who's very purpose-driven.
Mm. Wow. I could listen for hours, Nadina.
I could speak for hours.
We're a good match. How about someone listening this, Nadina, and think, where can someone start? You said self-leadership, so leadership starts with self-leadership. Can I develop it on my own, or is it, or I need a supportive community, I need coach, I need mentors? How does that usually work? So, or is it like I read books or see the videos and or people
all
start
of that is important. Yeah, I think, but sure, you can do it yourself as well, but I think it will take quite longer in comparison if you take someone to support you. So I personally always have my own coaches, my own mentors, and at the same time, I am a mentor. So I'm trying to have different roles in my life, because I think that this is the way how you improve yourself, how you, it's a kind of integral way of self-development and also of organizational development that starts with the leader self. And I have mentors, I have coaches. At the same time, I have my mentees to be able to support them with sharing knowledge and sharing experience. So developing, but the most important, I would say that the most important step is to make a decision that you truly want to do that. And it's a lifelong learning journey, and it's a lifelong process, which means once you start with that, it's everyday work until the end of your life. And that's the best part of it. It has no end. And you can reach kind of that state of mind only if you really make a true decision to work on yourself and on your environment, to improve yourself. And I'm someone who is very passionate about growth, about knowledge, about transformation. And there is one thing, and this is something also for our audience. Growth is so important, but growth doesn't happen by itself. Growth doesn't happen just like that. It has to be intentional. You have to have this clear decision, clear intention, and strategic approach if you really want to level up.
One of the things, one of the advice that I took from our Women in Leadership seminar over the for 2 years ago or so, a year ago, was beginning of the year to make this decision. What are you going to invest money in? So in yourself, so where are you going to develop? So where are you going to put the money? And this was one of the tips that I give in all of my workshops and when I talk to people. And it goes back to what you said, intentional, being really intentional and strategic. And it takes time. So it's not I invest this year and then, I collect a couple of, new skills or new certificates, and that's where it stops.
It certainly takes time. And well, that's the best part of it,
If you like.
And no end.
Thank you, Nadina. Now for our community here, making it in Austria. So let's start firstly with the networking. And you touched the topic of mentoring. Let's start with networking. You mentioned yourself, you were one of the founders of the Businesswomen of Bosnia and Herzegovina, and you have now a great community, Women in Leadership. So how do you go around networking? So what would be some tips that you would like to share with our community?
Networking is very important. And I built networks. I think I have a feeling I've done that my whole life, also during my studies. And I will tell you a bit more about that as well. But I think the most important part about networking is that you truly that you have effective approach to networking. It has to be effective. Otherwise, it's going to be a waste of your time and waste of your resources. And that means your network has to have voice and has to have decision-making power. if you truly want to reach some results. It has to be to add value to people, has to be sustainable, which means to have a clear vision, to have a clear purpose, to have a clear structure, multiplier, to be able to bring long-term results. We have chances to network every single day, but if you don't approach that effectively and strategically, you are going to just have a random talk with different people, and you will not achieve that result. And this is not the way how you build your network. So first, strategic approach, and think about this effectiveness during building a networks or building communities. And regarding my network, how it helped me after my studying or during my study times, I think that the best connections happen when you have the same vision, or when you follow the same vision and then you follow a certain purpose that is much greater than ourselves. And this is something that remains. With these people, you kind of stay connected for the rest of your life because you share the same vision. You work for something bigger, for something greater. And this is how I approached many projects during my studies in Vienna. I was very engaged in different activities, in different community services, volunteering, doing internships. And some of my important contacts are actually, even for today, are from that period of time, because we followed the same vision. We could identify ourselves with certain vision that is bigger than us, and we shared the same values. And this is something that really connects.
That stays for, you remind me now of my students' days, and I see a couple of people that I stayed connected over for the last 10 years. Yeah. It's very, very powerful. How do you network nowadays, Nadina, with everything being online? So do you have any different approach, or it's more or less the same?
No, it's the same approach. It's just different tool. My approach didn't change. It's even, let's say, it's kind of even easier now because I don't have to travel for everything, but the approach is totally the same. I'm selective a bit because of this effectiveness, and I know exactly what I'm searching for in my network, and around what purpose and around what vision I try to build my networks and my communities.
Thank you for sharing that. Nadina, how about people who are watching this now and considering to move to Austria? So what would be your tips for them? How can they prepare in the best way?
Moving to Austria. Yeah, I was thinking about that because I came to Austria as a student, and it was a little bit different at that time. I graduated from the high school in the United States. So before Austria, I lived in Bosnia, in Croatia, and in the United States. And then I decided to come to Vienna. The reason for that was because I didn't want to stay after graduation. I didn't want to stay in the United States. I decided to come back to Europe and to study in a country which is closer to my home country. And Vienna somehow seemed like a good choice. But back then, this moving to Austria was quite a journey, because this country had very stringent residence requirements for non-EU citizens, or better said, for Bosnian citizens. So my biggest challenge was to enter the country. And I didn't have any other challenges, to be honest. I only lost this time. I won in the United States because I finished my junior and senior high school year within 10 months. to kind of speed up things and to win time. And I won this year, 1 year. And then I lost that year in Austria waiting for my visa, kind of learning how to be patient, which the lesson I never learned. And I came to Austria finally after 1 year and a half or year and a half waiting for a visa. And I didn't speak German. So I was even thinking that to enroll in private English-speaking university. And to be honest, that would have been a faster way to get a degree, but I didn't decide to go that path. I decided something different because coming to Vienna was my decision. And if I already decided to be in this country, then my thinking was learning additional language can only benefit me. So I took a longer way. But I would certainly suggest, if you are coming to Vienna or if you are already here trying somehow to find your place here, learning German, it doesn't mean that you have to learn that language, but it certainly is going to be beneficial for you. If you can work in different international organizations or in different international companies which have English as a corporate language. So basically, theoretically, you don't need German. But if you truly want to integrate into society, then you should certainly learn the language. That's one part. Another part is cultural shock, which is just a natural, and we all face it. And when I adapting to a new environment and to a new culture, for me, it was more adventure than a struggle, due to the fact that I already had like several such cultural shocks. But going through different stages of cultural shock took some time as well. So it will take some time doesn't matter if you are aware of that or not, but it takes some time. And I was already used to that, so I kind of knew that cultural shock is a natural part of this cross-cultural experience. So don't worry if you experience something like that. It takes time, but you will go through that. And what would be important? Let me just. Yeah, a process. And another tip, yes, what I would like to share with your audience, because any change that you are facing, maybe it could be that you moving to a new country or new job or having new experiences in your life. I approach changes as a chance. And I think that every change is a chance for our personal and professional growth. But we need to use it wisely. And this is the point that I already said, that growth doesn't just happen. It needs to be intentional. So use that chance if you are new to Austria or if you are planning to come to Austria. Be intentional with your growth, but use that chance. See this change as something that is going to improve your life.
Thank you, Nadina. Before we wrap up, and I ask you what you're reading and books you would like to recommend to our viewers, is there anything that we forgot to mention, any other insight or tip that you would like to share with us?
Yes, what is also important is that I would like to tell you one more thing, as I didn't have any challenge with searching a job or finding a job, and would like to share with you what's the reason for that. First, I kind of finding a job was not a challenge. As I told you, I specialized in investment banking, and I knew how to use my competitive advantage to position myself on the market. So get to know yourself, discover your competitive advantage to be able to position you better on the job market. And at that time, after my graduation, I was in the right place with the right skill set. And what also helped, I had very good references and my influential network, which I have built during my studies by engaging exactly in community services, volunteering, different projects, doing different internships. So knowing yourself and finding out your competitive advantage is so important. This is how you truly add value to your company, the people around you. And wherever you are and whatever you do, or try to maximize your potential, use that competitive advantage, leverage your knowledge and your experience to accelerate your success. And start with yourself. Don't forget that. Start with yourself, explore your values, be aware of your leadership, because your leadership matters. And who do you follow matters too. Take care of who do you follow.
Thank you, Nadina, for all these tips and advices. I'm sure that it will help our viewers, be it someone who's studying here at the moment, be someone who's moving to Austria as well in their career. So people who are going to want to make really progress, strive for a career here in Austria. So thank you for the tips. I had the pleasure to interview over 30 people so far, and it comes bottom line, it comes to this, what you said, everybody agrees, being yourself, being resilient, being proactive, build your network, get engaged in different communities. So don't wait, build your network, start volunteering, find your community that you like to be part of it, and with which region you would like to identify yourself. So it's really, from everyone who I interviewed so far, it's always like, no matter where they come from, so they have very, very similar tips to succeed.
And what's also important, if you don't like something, change it. Change it. Don't wait too long. There are plenty of opportunities to improve your life and add value to people every single day. So use that chances wisely. If you don't like it, change it.
That's a good one. If you don't like it, change it. Create the life you want to live. Nadina, what are you reading nowadays? What would you like to recommend us?
I'm listening there are 3 books or 4 books I'm reading right now. I'm listening to Good to Great from Jim Collins. I'm reading The Infinity Game from Sinek. And I'm reading It's a Life and Work of Mullah Sadra, that he was a philosopher. So those are my 3 books today or this week.
I'm a big fan of The Infinite Game as well from Simon Sinek. It's
yes, that's for my book club. We have a book club, and that was suggested in a book club. So I'm preparing for the next session.
It's a great book, and we recently did a clubhouse as well on the Infinite Game. Yeah, Simon has something to say, and it's always, when I read his books, feels like I'm not alone in this world. There are other people who think as well that it's not just about maximizing the profit. There is much more in this.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, Nadina, so much for spending time with us, sharing your insights. I will link your contact details in the comment section of this video, so people can get back to you for any questions, or if they would like to continue working, hopefully start working with you. So it was a great pleasure. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you, Adela. It was my pleasure too. Thank you.
And thank you all to our viewers for watching this. I'm looking forward to reading your comments. Please share with your community, like, subscribe to the channel. And if you have anyone that you, any good guest that you would like to recommend me for the next interview, please do so. Write me in a comment section or send me a LinkedIn message. Always looking forward to have new guests on my channel. So have a good afternoon, and we talk soon. Thank you so much.